There are those who say that to look to history like slavery, the US Civil War, or Jim Crow as a fundamental driver of what's happening in this historical moment is a mistake. But it's hard to avoid those comparisons when we're resurrecting some very grim moments from our history every day. We see kidnappings on the street.
About the ICE raids that we're seeing. And I want to make a comparison, and that is when I talk with my students about the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850 and how it pushed the nation closer to the brink of civil war because they began snatching people out of communities, people who had lived in communities or people who had escaped slavery. And you know, my students are like, oh, so these people who came out against the Fugitive Slave Act were all abolitionists. And I said, no. These are people who could not countenance the idea of their neighbors being taken from them.
We see sitting legislators threatened or even arrested.
We're also following a bomb threat at a hotel in St. Charles. This is where Texas Democrats are staying as the standoff escalates over redistricting.
We see the removal of people of color from positions of leadership in government or even academia.
It just feels like a microscope is now on like black people.
Much of what Trump is doing seems aimed at rolling back the historical clock for the express purposes of removing power and agency from not only political opponents, but also people he sees as actually less than human. It's also hard not to think of decades of American history when the President of the United States directly targets Washington, D.C.
He's going to send out the National Guard. Well, why didn't he send it out January 6th?
The city has been majority-minority for more than 60 years. It is a city long known as Chocolate City due to the presence of Black Americans and the defining role that heritage has played in the city going much further back.
My great-great-grandfather, I think, was known as the Black Mayor of Georgetown. He eventually becomes a homeowner in Georgetown, multiple homes, works for the federal government, is the leader of the Republican Party here in, well, Lincoln was a Republican. You know, when we talk about, you know, the American dream, I mean, this is really the fulfillment of it.
The district only acquired home rule in my lifetime, and now it's under threat. President Trump has attacked the city repeatedly and has expressed racist animus against Black Americans for half a century.
A well-educated Black has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white.
Perhaps most famously, lying about the criminality of the Central Park Five, who were wrongfully convicted and imprisoned, and continuing to lie long after they'd been exonerated.
This is a man who has consistently scapegoated Black and brown people to either gain celebrity or political capital.
The U.S. Senate currently has bills pending intended to repeal D.C. Council votes meant to manage crime in the city. That by itself is an egregious action, but Trump is leapfrogging it entirely by seizing control of the D.C. Police Department and bringing in the National Guard. All while violent crime rates are the lowest they've been in the city for more than 30 years.
And listening to the press conference on my way over here, every city that he named, Chicago, Oakland, Baltimore, who's, by the way, Baltimore's crime is down 50%, all of them are Black cities.
These actions are deeply rooted in American history.